Hey, what's going on, everybody? In the video game world, I Play Games Nation here with the first edition of Pass the Controller. And of course, if you do or don't know, who would know this is the very first episode? We are talking about the most current topical video game discussions that you want to hear from. And as never before, I have three guests with me today. I have Sunil Mister on my very far left. Actually, switch hands on my far left over here. I have Mike B, not the singer, but the cohort, the chief, the CEO, if you will, of Rushdown Radio on Saturdays. And then I have longtime personal friend, but definitely video gaming friend at that, Chicago John Lewis. So just to jump into it real quick, everybody. Besides the fact that once again, this is something that I Play Games throws and talks, but we talk about topics that are really kind of current to when it comes to gaming. And if you want, let's go ahead and just jump right in. I'm going to throw this ball out here really quickly. Injustice God Among Us is coming out. I don't know if anybody else here is a fan favorite, but of course, I love Mortal Kombat and I love the new Mortal Kombat 9. So now that you're telling me they're going to make a DC game that's done by the Mortal Kombat guys, almost probably going to rival a few of the other comic book games, with the new controller scheme coming out, the ABC plus the unique button at the bottom, I got to ask everybody, is NetherRealm taking a bite out of Capcom swag and really trying to get into the M-base crowd with this new control scheme? I'm going to start with you, Sunil.
Actually, it just seems like the same thing you see in the shooter space, where the Call of Duty control scheme is the control scheme of shooters. This is a sign of a mature genre, really, because why make a whole new control scheme when you have something that most of your player base is familiar with? It makes sense. If it works and it makes the game more playable, why not? I don't see where the problem is with this.
Mike, you brought the question up to me, man. What gave you the idea to ask?
Well, I felt like when it comes to Mortal Kombat as a whole, it's kind of like a niche play style. Like a lot of fighting games don't follow the same play style as Street Fighter or any SNK game. So I felt like them adding this was just a way for them to dig into the fighting game community a lot more. So of course Street Fighter is like one of the biggest, and Marvel is another one. So I think they're just trying to get a bigger niche now and give longevity than they didn't have before with Mortal Kombat.
John, is NetherRealm trying to push Capcom out of that, I guess, the supremacy seat when it comes to crossover games?
I definitely think so. I mean, if you look at NetherRealm, when they brought out the latest 2011 Mortal Kombat, they were highly praised amongst all the fans. And they definitely watched a lot of the bad taste of the old DC versus Mortal Kombat game out of a lot of people's mouths. So right now, they actually on good standing with everybody, in my opinion. So when you look at the Injustice Gods Among Us, you can only hope that they learn from their Mortal Kombat days when they made that game.
All right, so kind of got a little bit of a consensus on that. Let me try to toss it around to this real quick, since we're talking about developers and how they kind of decide to pull in their fan base in new ways to get people interested in their games. I got to say, Skullgirls is definitely doing something special. Past week, they raised, what was it, over a couple $100,000 on just getting donations for new characters and new stages. And the staff, I guess, for Skullgirls, the developers themselves, have virtually paid themselves. Good business model or something to try to emulate in the future? Mike, I'll start with you on that.
I think it's a really good business model because it just shows just how enthusiastic the fans are for the game, especially since they've been going through a lot of troubles with the studio as a whole anyway. So for them to have such a great fan support just shows how dedicated people are to the game to actually give money after already buying the game anyway. So.
John, what do you think?
Right now, all companies and gaming companies especially, you want to include your fan base. You want to get their opinion. You want them to feel welcome. So anything where you can have the community get involved with the games that they love is always a win for me.
And Sunil, round us out on that.
Well, honestly, I think this shows, one, how screwed up the development environment is in terms of cost. It costs them almost $250,000 to put one new character into the game. So as gamers, we like the smaller B-tier games and the niche games that just can't exist in that environment. But the silver lining of all this is that we now have a market where something like Skullgirls can survive and almost thrive based off of really a niche fan base. So net positive, a great thing because it means that other games like Skullgirls might have a chance with if they can really draw on their fandom. But on the other end, it really does show how harsh it is for the niche.
All right, so since we've all kind of thrown out how we kind of appreciate what Skullgirls is kind of doing, including people, including their actual community in it, and if you take a look, they even posted a video just showing like how much they're going to change, what they're going to add. You know, they almost try to do a dollar sign by dollar sign, bit by bit of if we get X amount of dollars, this is what it will go to. All right, in a row. I want everybody to name a publisher, name a developer they have in mind that could probably do better if they sought more from their community. I'll go this way, John.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say, probably you have to go with their whole Rockstar. They probably doing a great job now, but it's definitely good to get other people's opinions on certain things.
Mike.
Square Enix.
I had a feeling you were going to say Square Enix. So Neil, I think you probably, it looks like you got like 10 developers on your mind. So Neil, who are you thinking of going with?
It's funny. For a lot of the games that I care about, they're already kind of surviving like that. But let me think. I maybe go with Konami just to get Metal Gear Solid Fist of the Patriots done.
Oh yeah, our personal project, a Metal Gear Solid fighting game where all of the different people will be unique to their class and style. All right, who's a waste? That would be a waste. No, you know what? Metal Gear Solid really is one of those things that if you slap the name on it, people will definitely come out and buy it. They'll be like, "Oh, it has Metal Gear on it. I didn't know that. It was a fighting game. No, I had no clue. I've already purchased it."
Hey, every time you get to the end of the game, you always get a fight simulator anyway, so they
That's
already
true.
got the.
That's exactly what was brought up. All right, bringing us back to base real quick. We're going to enter into one part of the show. Will it happen or not? And this one, I'm going to pose a couple of questions that people have asked over the course of this past week and see whether or not you guys think something like this will happen. Event Hub says that people want Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot to be on PlayStation All Stars. They've actually started an entire petition and gotten tons of people to sign and ask for these characters to come. Will they or will they not make it into an edition of PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale? So Neil, go.
Honestly, Activision and Vivendi Universal both have shown no real interest in those franchises in this generation. So I don't see what the gain is for them to bow to what the fans want. PlayStation All Stars isn't a big seller, and it's only for a single console, so I'd say it's pretty unlikely.
All right, got a no over there. John, what do you think?
Look, they want money, all right? I don't know what is up with Sony not wanting money. If you put these people out there, they will buy it. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, he's very popular right now with the whole game where you can use the action figure. Might as well incorporate.
Now you do know that Spiral and Crash aren't officially licensed, or they do not. PlayStation or Sony itself doesn't own those anymore. So the question is, how hard can Sony work really to try to if people want it that badly? How hard will Sony work to try to get those back, if it's even possible?
One day we'll have to see that with the cost effects. So if it only costs about 150 million to purchase it, and they can only get $2,000 from everybody, then they're not going to do it. I think if sales increase more with the PlayStation All Star, then they probably consider it. But since sales really aren't as great as they want it to be, then I'm with Samil. It's not going to happen.
Mike.
That's a tough one because
I know this one hurts. It's close to home for you, man.
It's so close to home. I think that fan support has always shown that if enough people care enough, it can happen. But I don't know if enough people care enough about those two characters in particular, especially with that game either. Because as you said, the sales for the game they're not up to par at all, especially for the hype for the game. So I don't think there's gonna be enough support to get those two characters on there. It's just there's too much stuff in the way. It's too much stuff hindering it to get there.
And at this point, I'm pretty sure they can look at, people's play hours, especially with everybody being connected to PlayStation Network. I'm pretty sure they can look at people's play hours and see it's not really on par with people being dedicated to the game and, that turning them around to wanting to play it anymore. All right, here we go. Will it or won't it happen? Eidos claims that the Xbox 720, or at least the next generation that Microsoft will come out in the console era, will only play watermarked discs. Will it or won't it happen? Let's see. I'll start off with Mike with this one.
I'm gonna say no because that would be bad business for Microsoft, especially after Sony already came out and said they're gonna play used games. So it wouldn't be in their best interest.
So Neil.
Honestly, it's not a matter of if it will happen. It's just a matter of when. I don't think it may not happen at the start of this console cycle, but the fact of the matter is, used game sales is hurting publishers badly. For every one game you sell, you're going to sell 4 more copies you won't receive any revenue on. So, yes, Sony, they pulled the trigger first and said we're not going to block them, but that doesn't mean we're not going to see more season passes, more single-use DLC that are going to basically become soft watermarks. So, again, will it happen or won't? I gotta give a tentative yes, maybe not, but not at launch.
Not at launch, okay. So you're thinking more of it's going to come in a form of some things to just get you used to, what it's like saying I bought a game and this is the only way I can really have the true experience, kind of like EA. John, what's your thoughts on it?
Okay, definitely they're not going to really do it at first, like everyone says, because one, if they start banning the game, that's why they didn't start banning discs. They knew if they start banning discs, they would have people like Walmart and Best Buy saying, "All right, Sony, you can't do that. We're shutting you down because they need to buy the system, and we want them to come buy the games." So right now, they got to think of a better option of selling these discs. Selling the content without a disc. They may have to do things where, like, release it 15 days earlier, give you more free, like you said, free pass or so. But this generation is probably going to be the test before we go into the next generation of there won't be able to trade rentals or any of those type of games.
So kind of like how PSN is trying to capitalize a little bit on making people get used to downloading a game for whatever price they decide to set for it, as opposed to a change as far as can we get people to play is more coming from a consumer end, a selling and consumer end. All right.
And the best thing to do right now to have the options, because the first company or the first system that says I'm not going to do it, the other one's going to do it, and you're going to have people running over to that system instead. So it's really a kill device.
All right, so I'm going to end this one up with a lightning question. All right, a really funny situation about a year ago when Super Mario 3DS came out. Peter made some very, very harsh statements about Mario and his Tanuki suit. Now Peter is back again, and they've got some really tough complaints on Assassin's Creed. Does Peter have any credibility at all to really kind of complain about games, or do they have warrant for it? Is there any merit to their complaint about Assassin's Creed? Let's see. I'll go right back to John. John.
Now, like, if they want to start complaining about skinning animals and stuff in the games, they could have went all the way back to Red Dead Redemption. They could have went back to plenty of other things. The thing that Peter doing, which is a brilliant but stupid idea anyway, they know flame wars keep them alive. They know if they piss off people like gamers who have nothing else better to do but just to send angry comments back and forth, and they know that we're going to help them, promote them by saying, hey, don't look at Peter, but look at Peter, but don't look at Peter, then of course they're going to keep messing with the gamers. Before they mess with regular people, they try to get naked, then you got people ignoring them. But they know the only people going to pay attention to them now are the gamers. So if they're going to continue to do it,
this is more of an attention stunt again. They attacked a fictional character, a year ago in Mario. So this is more of a publicity stunt.
That's like Peter coming into your daddy house and saying, you know what, forget your Chicago Bears, all right? Get them. And then you got to get your dad mad because he loves the Chicago Bears. So it's easy to attack what you love, and you know that we got rapid fans everywhere.